Yo, what's up guys? What's going on? Frank Daniels here. Today I'm talking intermittent fasting for men, and I'm going to give you 3 big benefits, okay? 3 benefits we can prove are going to help you get the best body and, of course, life that you're looking for. Now, first question is, what is intermittent fasting? We just got to answer that. Ultimately, it's just this idea that I'm not going to eat or drink calories for a period of time. So specifically today, what I'm going to address is the big thing that I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about is this kind of just daily fast, right? There's a lot of different ways to do intermittent fasting or time periods. You can fast for 16 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours. The longer the fast, the bigger the recovery you're going to need from that. But if you're doing a daily fast, basically what you're doing, this is the typical way that it happens, is you wake up in the morning. When you normally eat breakfast, you skip breakfast, and then you start breakfast sometime later in the day. Okay, this is the intermittent fasting that I'm talking about. So it's just this idea that I'm going to wake up and I'm just not going to eat until some point later in the day, and I'll start eating then. So you guys probably know that while you're sleeping, one, you're already fasting, right? So if you're asleep for, if you're doing well, 8 hours, right? You know, you're already fasting for 8 hours, so this is just an extension of that. And the one I'm talking about is the 16-hour fast. So if you are sleeping for 8 hours, okay, you already fasted, and now we're just going to extend that later in the day, right? And then you would eat instead of a 16-hour window. Normally, if someone woke up in the morning, they would start eating, and then you would finish sometime at night, and we'll just say that's roughly around 16 hours. So now we're just closing that same time period down, and now we're eating in a smaller window. And that's what I'm discussing, just a daily fast that's going to help benefit you in terms of fat loss and hopefully some more hormone production. I'm going to talk about the benefits in a minute. The other couple things to understand about fasting is typically it works better in the morning. And in terms of training, the best thing for your training is a consistent calorie intake. Things like protein, carbohydrates, maybe not so much fats, that's a conversation for another day, but carbohydrates and protein really help fuel training. So if you're going to wake up in the morning and train but not eat, you're probably cutting off your nose to spite your face. So again, training is number one because that's how you get the gains, right? So if you want the gains, you want more muscle and less body fat, training aggressively or intensely is your top priority. You're not going to do that without calories. So typically fasting works better in the morning. So you got to understand if you're going to train in the morning, then you might have to change the window of your fast. So you might have to start eating in the morning and start fasting earlier at night, which may not be a bigger benefit. I'm going to explain that in a second. The other thing is the amount of total calories that you eat during the course of the day is the most important aspect of remaining lean. Right? So a lot of you guys probably want to build some muscle, but ultimately you don't want to build muscle and have body fat, right? So to be lean, the total amount of calories that you eat or being in a slight calorie deficit is important. How many meals you eat during the course of the day is negligent. So you can have 1 meal, okay, if you want. You can have 3 meals, you can have 4 meals, 6 meals, whatever it is. But one thing we know about training is it's fueled by nutrition. So consistent nutrition is important. When you train, can be a factor in fasting also. So again, how much you eat, how many times you eat doesn't matter, but it is important to understand that probably the best thing for muscle gains, which ultimately helps fat loss, is to eat consistently. So I guess the big point here is more than likely the best way to fast is to train at night towards the evening time and already have nutrition in you. So already have a meal or two before you go into that. So you would just fast longer or later into the day, and then have your meals, and then ultimately go into your training, because it's the best way to help your body get in shape. So let me give you the top 3 benefits that we can prove of intermittent fasting. Number 1 is it's a calorie control tool. That's what it is. So no one has to fast. It's not a life or death thing. You can use it as a tool in your toolbox, but ultimately what it does is, if you normally wake up in the morning and start eating and then you finish sometime at night, later at night, this is a big window of eating. More than likely, if you squeeze that window of eating down to this much time, you're probably going to eat less because you're just going to think about food less. You're not going to have as many blood sugar fluctuations from eating calories, right? Which kind of sometimes can make you hungry depending on what you're eating. you're not thinking about food as often. That's just the way it works, right? So you're more than likely going to eat less calories, since calorie control is the best way to stay lean, right? To understand that you're going to come in at a maintenance level or a slight calorie deficit, whatever it is the number one determinant in having, losing body fat, being lean and muscular, right? If you eat in a smaller window, you're probably not going to eat as many calories. Now, I will point out that you can certainly take that the other way. So you can fast so long and make yourself so hungry. God forbid you probably don't want to go to the grocery store when you're doing that and do your shopping. Chances are you might overeat. So you can certainly overeat, but more than likely, 9 times out of 10, fasting helps people control their calories because they're eating for less time. Okay? And that's it. The second one is going to be, it's going to help you become more insulin sensitive. Now, here's where the morning time comes into play. The morning time, because of what happens hormonally when you're sleeping, when you wake up in the morning, you have more your blood glucose levels are higher, right? So your body has to release insulin to react to that. And ultimately, what insulin does is it reacts to calories, but more specifically reacts to carbohydrates. So sugar spikes, right? So if basically your blood sugar is higher in the morning, when you add calories on top of that, now we have more fluctuations. If you're overweight, chances are your body doesn't deal with insulin that well. So over a period of time, from eating probably a lot of crap, okay, processed food and a lot of shitty carbohydrates, over time your body just doesn't deal with calories well. So your metabolism can become quote unquote broken, or better yet, doesn't work as efficiently. So you just don't deal with calories well. So you take those calories in, and instead of using them efficiently for muscle production and tissue production, you store them as body fat. So you want to start to get your insulin, your body's response to insulin back in check. So if you fast through the morning, when, again, those things are already high, adding calories on top of that, it's probably not going to benefit too much. If you fast through the morning, your body starts to become more insulin sensitive again, and now insulin starts to work for you and be productive with the calories that you eat, as opposed to, once again, just store them as body fat. So it can help you lose more body fat, become more insulin sensitive, and now your metabolism gets back on track. That's why fasting in the morning is more beneficial. If you have to do it the other way, you have to do it the other way, but this way can benefit you more in terms of fat loss and, again, insulin sensitivity. Number 3 is the release of growth hormone, so the GH response to fasting. So somewhere around the 12-hour mark of being fasted, again, if you're sleeping, you're already fasting 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever it might be. Somewhere at that 12-hour mark, you release growth hormone. Now, this has been the big sell over the last couple of years. Why do you do intermittent fasting? Because growth hormone is going to jump up like 12,000%, and that's going to influence testosterone, which it will, okay? Growth hormone is the anti-aging hormone, helps the rebuilding of tissues, so you get more muscle, you burn more fat, you stay younger longer, you get a little sharper up here. Awesome, all great things. That's the way we've been selling it it's been sold the last couple of years. Turns out, a lot of researchers are looking at it and saying that those increases in growth hormone are negligent, because what's happening is it's jumping up and then it's coming back to baseline. Okay, so it might be negligent, it might be pennies on the dollars. My big question is just knowing that the human body adapts to any specific imposed demand that you put on it. So if I go here every day and I do bicep curls, my body responds by getting rid of body tissue or tissues that aren't used in that exercise, and ultimately just helps me grow because it responds to that. If I sit here in bad posture every day, my body is going to get rid of the tissues I'm not using and ultimately make me really good at doing this. So in other words, the everyday activity I do with my body or don't do, okay, so if I intake crap every day, my body responds to that. If I intake good stuff, my body responds to that. So are the rises in growth hormone as big as they've been sold? Probably not, but my big question, and I know my answer right here, is do I want a daily increase in growth hormone, even though it may come back down to baseline levels? Do I want that every single day, or do I not want that? And I know my answer. I'm going to say, okay, you know what? I'll take that, because I think eventually over the course of time, your body registers that and responds accordingly in a good way. So again, you can kind of take what you want from it. There's a lot of researchers that say these things are going to benefit you hormonally in terms of growth hormone, testosterone, through the roof. And there's other people saying, not as much. Again, you can decide whether or not you want that response every day, but I'll tell you again, your body responds to what the stimulus you give it on a regular basis, and in my mind, I'll take that over not having it. All right, so those are the big 3 benefits you can get from intermittent fasting. 1, it's going to help you control calories, control your hunger levels as well, because when you fast, you start to really figure out when you're hungry and when you're not. It improves your insulin sensitivity, which is going to help improve your metabolism, help you burn more body fat. And 3, you do get a growth hormone release. And depending on how much that is, will you take that daily response or daily release? I would. That's me. So those are 3 big benefits for you guys out there. I hope you kind of get where I'm coming with this stuff. It's something that you can use. It's a tool in a nutrition toolbox. Ultimately, if you have poor nutrition, it's ineffective completely, right? So you got to have good nutrition if you're going to go to intermittent fasting, and then you can benefit from the things I'm talking about today. So again, I hope this really helped you guys out. Keep in mind, I have a free report. It's called 7 Steps to Shredded. So I'll talk about intermittent fasting and a couple other things in there that can help you get shredded. Again, guys, this is a tool in the toolbox. So you can use it, make sure your nutrition is good, and put it to work. If you really enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to head down below, leave a comment, and of course, subscribe to this channel right here. Guys, my name is Frank Daniels. Enjoy.